Hey, how's it going, everybody? Welcome back to 2A News Now, and I really appreciate you taking your time tuning into my video. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, what are you guys waiting for? It just takes a second to subscribe to the channel, and you can join the over 52,000 people that are subscribed to the channel. The Rust movie assistant director has taken a plea deal and avoids jail time, while the charges against actor and Rust producer Alec Baldwin and the film's armorer Hannah Gutierrez-Reed have gotten most of the press attention. The film's first assistant director is the first to face legal consequences for the death of cinematographer Helena Hutchins, though the consequences themselves don't add up to much at all. David Halls pled no contest to the charge of negligent use of a deadly weapon in a Santa Fe, New Mexico courtroom on Friday, and a judge swiftly sentenced him to 6 months of unsupervised probation. Hall's plea bargain will put pressure on Baldwin and Gutierrez-Reed to accept any offer from prosecutors that might come their way, especially with Halls set to testify in a preliminary hearing for the two coming up in May. Halls was in the church building at the Bonanza Creek Ranch in Santa Fe, New Mexico on October 21st, 2021, when Hutchins was killed by a single shot by Baldwin's Colt 45. Gutierrez-Reed loaded the firearm, which was supposed to contain only dummy rounds. Baldwin was holding it when it was fired, though he has denied pulling the trigger. Halls checked the weapon before it was handed to Baldwin, though the precise nature of his involvement remains in dispute. Baldwin has said that Halls handed him the weapon and declared it a cold gun, meaning it did not contain any blank rounds. Gutierrez-Reed also said she handed it to Halls and then left the building before Baldwin arrived. Experts in the use of weapons on a set has faulted Halls for handling the gun, saying only the armorer and actor should have handled the weapon. Halls has previously disputed Baldwin and Gutierrez-Reed's account, but pleading guilty to a misdemeanor and avoiding a potential jail term must have been too tempting for him to turn down. And here's something that's very interesting that some of you might not have known. In her prepared statement, Prosecutor Carrie Morrissey also noted there were also 2 negligent discharges of blank rounds prior to Hutchins' death, and that the camera crew had walked off the set in part due to safety concerns. Morrissey said, obviously this is a very serious incident. A young woman lost her life. There were obvious safety issues on this set. Mr. Halls was, as the court knows, the safety coordinator on the set. Halls' defense attorney Lisa Corico said on Friday that Halls disputes the state's contention that he was ultimately responsible for the set's safety. He can't control how other people handle firearms, Corico said. However, she said he agreed to plead no contest to make things easier for the family. Everybody needs to start processing and moving on, Corico said. Mr. Halls is in a lot of pain and a lot of trauma, and all that's lessened by him escaping going to jail over his role in Hutchins' death. That's still a possibility for Baldwin and Gutierrez-Reed, who are facing felony involuntary manslaughter charges, though I'm sure Morrissey will dangle a plea deal in front of each of them before the cases go to trial, even without the celebrity justice factor, which applies far more to Baldwin than Gutierrez-Reed. The vast majority of felony cases in the country end with a plea bargain and not a verdict from the jury. And Morrissey is also a fairly late arrival to the prosecution, taking over for Santa Fe DA Mary McCormick Altweiss appointed her and another attorney to take on the prosecution because her own office is supposedly understaffed. Special prosecutor Andrea Reeb stepped away even earlier after Baldwin's attorneys challenged her ability to serve as both a special prosecutor and a state legislator. Carmack Altweiss had already suffered an embarrassing loss when her office was forced to drop a 5-year sentence enhancement against Baldwin and Gutierrez-Reed because it wasn't in effect at the time of Hutchins' death, which was a glaring error on the part of the DA, but an early sign of the chaotic nature of the prosecution to date. At this point, Morrissey would probably like this case just to go away, but whether or not she's willing to plea bargain Baldwin and Gutierrez-Reed's charges, to the point that, like Halls, punishment amounts to a short time on probation, remains to be seen. It's very obvious that Mr. Halls took the plea deal because he knew for damn sure that if it went to trial, he was going to be convicted and he was going to jail. And if this prosecutor offers a plea deal to Baldwin and Gutierrez-Reed that makes it so they don't serve any jail time, would be a travesty. Somebody needs to pay for what happened on the set of Rust, and they need to go to jail. As always, I would really like to hear your thoughts about the story in the comments section. And I do appreciate everybody's support when you like, share, and subscribe and hit those post notifications. And I invite you guys back to see my next video.